Hey, what's up guys? It's the Tan Man, and today we're gonna do an Onslaught Dungeon tutorial.
Hello, Tan Man.
So the Onslaught Dungeon is an area in the game. Let me just show you where it is exactly. It's in Meyerfen, which is the third map in the game. And approximately 1/3 through this map, you're gonna find the Onslaught Dungeon. And it's right over here. Let me see if I can just get to the beginning. So it's not too far from the beginning of the map. All right, so we got the Onslaught Dungeon. It's 10 floors. It's 10 static battles. So it's the exact same battles, enemy combinations every day in the same order. The trick to the Onslaught Dungeon, one of the nuances is you get to use 2 heroes per floor, and once you use those heroes, you can't use them again. One thing you might tell yourself is, oh, I need to level 20 heroes to complete all 10 floors, but that's not true. By the time you are able to actually complete all 10 floors, you actually only need to have maybe 6 heroes leveled. 6 key heroes. So the heroes that I'm going to show you later are 4 healers and 2 basically damage dealers, but we'll get there later in the video. Each floor of the Onslaught Dungeon rewards a chest. These chests can contain anything from drops, poems, or cores. Not only does the Onslaught Dungeon reward chests, but it also unlocks the Logician's Gauntlet. Each floor of the Onslaught Dungeon gives a certain hero alignment boost. So for today, floor 1 has a champion boost, so all champion heroes will get a boost. These boosts are random, day over day, so don't rely on them. They're nice to haves, but once you start completing the Onslaught Dungeon consistently, you'll realize you don't actually need them. So we have floor 1. By the time you actually can complete this consistently, these bosses, up until maybe floor 7, will almost be all auto attack battles. But I'll show you really quickly what you basically do up until floor 7. Pick your strongest weapon. For this floor, I picked an undead weapon because there are undead enemies, and I will throw in 2 basically filler or like trash heroes that I know I won't need later. One of the things with Onslaught Dungeon bosses, in this scenario, you'll notice that I am unable to attack the boss at the start of the battle. You'll see a couple of bosses like this, so the trick to these bosses is you want to get past the front line of enemies before you can actually attack the boss. If possible, try to kill them all on the same turn. So for this battle, really straightforward. I can one-shot these enemies now, and as you can see, I can start targeting the boss. And he's dead. Floor number 2. This fight is slightly different from the floor 1. Once again, same idea with any floor. Pick your strongest weapon. And for floors 1 through 6, just fill it in with trash heroes. So unlike the first floor, I can actually attack the boss right away. I don't need to clear these enemies. And at this point, since you're already strong enough, you can just hit the auto play button. And you should be able to kill him just like that. Okay, so we got floor 3. This fight is very similar to floor number 1. I like using a golem weapon for this fight because I find that the golem type enemies are a lot beefier or healthier than the cult type enemies. Again, we're going to fill it in with trash heroes. So as you can see, basically identical to the fight on the first floor. I am unable to attack the boss currently. So do your best. Try to kill the enemies in the front row in the same turn. And as you can see, I can start attacking the boss. Now, if there are spaces available, the boss will summon. Now, I've seen scenarios where the boss actually just attacks you. But 9 times out of 10, if there are spaces, the boss will summon. Now, even though the boss summoned enemies, as you can see, I'm actually still able to attack the boss. At this point, ignore the enemies and go straight for this boss. Floor 4. If you're attempting floor 4 for the first time, I highly recommend Wormwood. Especially if you're nowhere close to finishing all 10 floors. Wormwood is amazing on this floor. Once again, pick your strongest weapon. And pick 2 heroes. Now remember, if you can't beat all 10 floors, then you're probably using Wormwood on this floor. This fight is like floor 2. I can attack the boss right away, but something a little bit different is that these particular types of encounters, there is a back row. If you do not have the damage, in this case, it's a little bit problematic. These guys will actually heal the boss. So you have a couple of choices. You have Wormwood. His rage ability should be able to take care of the guys in the back. Otherwise, you're just beating this boss up. Ignore all the ads, ignore all the minions, and just go straight for the boss. I was fortunate the healers in the back didn't charge their ability in one turn, so it's basically a kill by turn 3. Floor 5 gives you your first shot, chance at a golden chest. These golden chests afford significantly more items than the other types of chests that the Onslaught Dungeon gives you. I think in the Masterwork chest, you're able to get up to 4 drops, 4 tomes, and I believe like a higher chance at the pink and golden cores. I may be wrong, but if you can't beat all 10 floors at first, your short-term goal should be trying to beat at least 5 floors to get at least one of these Masterwork chests. One thing you may be asking yourselves is, why am I not using a demon weapon? My demon weapon is fairly underleveled. It only does 620 damage times 2 against demons. You're looking at 1240. Whereas my golem weapon at this point does 1309. So it's actually a little bit more than my demon weapon. Unfortunately, a lot of the demon heroes that are available to you by this point of the game only attack the back row with their base power. This fight is sort of a combination of all the previous fights. It has a front row and a back row. It uses some of the same principles. Kill the front row to get to the back row. It's very important to be able to do that, because if this boss starts summoning its healers and they're able to start healing the front row, it's this vicious cycle of summoning and healing that won't even allow you to get to the back. So it's important to try to kill the guys in the front on the same turn. So what I would do is I would try to get them nice and low, both sides, and then on this next turn, I should be able to kill them on the same turn. And my avatar, or sorry, I believe the boss moves up towards you. And once he does that, he'll stop summoning. These sword-wielding demons. As you can see, we've moved up to the boss, and technically, if this was one row of enemies, he'd still have room to summon. But because I've moved up to him and I'm now in melee range, this demon stops summoning and will swipe at your face. He will swipe at your face unless the casters on the sides are dead. I know that I'm strong enough to just keep whacking at this guy, but if you're having trouble with him, I recommend at least trying to kill one caster per turn. This basically forces him to summon and not hit you in the face. Floor 6 is basically an identical fight to floor 2. It's a goblin fight. Pick your strongest goblin weapon and focus on the boss. Now, if you're not at the point where you can beat 10 floors, I recommend Vordry for this fight. I recommend a healer as well. For this fight, I'm just going to use a couple of goblin heroes just to sort of speed things up. And we're just going to auto this fight. You're going to receive a lot of incoming damage on this fight. It's important to have the strongest goblin weapon that you could possibly have for this particular fight. And you're going to just focus fire on the boss. And you should be able to take him down by turn 4 or 5. If you haven't done it by then, the enemies will probably kill you. Okay guys, we're down to the nitty gritty. The last 4 floors of the Onslaught Dungeon are the hardest. One thing to notice is that the bosses in the Onslaught Dungeon, they scale with your levels. So with every floor, they do get harder, and the speed at which their level increases depends on your level. At level 45, by the time you reach floor 7, the enemies are level 44. This particular fight is a long one for myself. The enemies in the front are quite tanky, especially these big guys. Bring your strongest golem weapon. I can't stress that enough. I'm using a level 45 golem weapon, a unique level golem weapon, and I have an okay time with this fight. Of course, bring one of your 4 main healers now. So with the previous floors, hero selection didn't matter much. I used all trash heroes. But you want to start bringing some healers in for these last 4 fights. So on this floor, I'm going to use Tristan. He's a perfect healer. And his rage ability does double damage against golems. Second hero shouldn't matter. So I'm just going to put in another random hero. He just so happens to be strong versus golems as well. But you'll notice that I probably won't even use him. One more thing I wanted to note is that at the time I was able to clear all 10 floors the first time. The sum of my armor and health was around 28,000. So if you're around that effective health level, you should have an okay time finishing the Onslaught Dungeon. At the time, I was actually still... I had 4 pieces of level 40 epic armor, so not even that high. So this boss started the fight off difficult for myself. It actually takes 4 swings of my golem weapon to take one of these guys down. These wolves are a lot squishier than the big guys. 1 chain start attack and 1 ultimate attack is enough to kill them. Also 2 chain link attacks can kill a wolf. So I'm gonna just start off with 1 chain start, swing at this guy again, and then bring it back, and I know that kills him. The same thing here. Remember, you're probably not gonna be manually fighting this fight because you want to try to prioritize targets. Now, this target, his ability is ready to go on the next turn. It's in my best interest to kill this monster if I can. I'm gonna swing at him once, bring it over to this wolf, kill him, and then bring it back. This turn is a lot more difficult now. I have kind of a dilemma. It takes 4 swings to kill one of these guys, but I also want to try to put up my 3-turn defense with Tristan. In this scenario, I'm going to use Tristan. Because I know I have a lot of incoming damage on this turn. And I want to try to put my Protect up. Note that Tristan gives 3-turn Protect when you fully max his stars. So max his stars out as soon as you can. We're going to use Tristan's Rage ability here. Put some damage on these golems and give ourselves some regeneration. We'll probably want to use Tristan's ability on the next turn. Okay, perfect. So he summoned a wolf. I know I can kill a wolf in two actions. We use Tristan's ability first. We're gonna swipe at this guy and kill the wolf so that we give room for the boss to summon more enemies. You want to try to leave a space for summons so that the boss doesn't start blasting you in the face. You kind of want to save that till the very end. So the boss is going to start blasting me in the face. Fortunately, a lot of these guys are weak. I should be able to kill them within a turn or two. I'm going to use Tristan's ability, Rage ability again, to give us some regeneration. I know I could probably kill this guy in 2 swings. I think it's worth it to try to block this ability instead of using Tristan's health. Instead of using Tristan's base ability. I will be using it now though. Perfect. This boss has a significant health advantage right now, but I should be able to bring that in within a turn or two. We're going to just quickly put another stack of regeneration on ourselves. And at this point, we're going to use Tristan's ability one more time. And at this point, it's a DPS race. I'm going to just swing at the boss nonstop until he's dead. That's 4-7. So we already covered off one of the key heroes to use during this Onslaught Dungeon run. In fact, I'm going to type them out into the chat so that we know who the heroes we want. We're gonna use 2 more key heroes on this floor. Floor number 8 is similar to floor number 4. The militia boss in this particular fight, he's going to be teamed up with cult heroes. This is where Mr. Vordry comes in. Vordry, along with all the other heroes on in this tutorial, is farmable. He's the only, well, I wouldn't say the only legendary hero farmable, but he is probably the easiest to farm. You can buy his shards in the guild shop for 300 accolades, and he's worth it. He is amazing. His rage ability hits like a truck, especially against cult heroes. His rage ability at this level should be able to one-shot at least the guys in the back. Because his rage ability hurts us a lot, we're going to use a decent healer. Titania is another amazing hero. In fact, probably, I would say, in my opinion, one of the best healers in the game. Her base ability, when fully starred, gives you focus. Focus stacked on top of this Maverick Gauntlet that I'm currently wearing is going to generate a lot of rage, which in turn will allow me to use Vordry's rage ability quite often during this battle. Okay, so the very first thing you want to do in this fight is punch. In fact, like almost every other fight, you'd probably be punching first to generate rage. Boss is going to summon on this turn. We have a full rage bar. Now this is where Vordry comes in. And the guys in the back, if you're generating rage fast enough, they never get a chance to do their abilities, which is amazing. On this turn, we're going to use Titania's ability. Start healing ourselves. This gives us focus. We're able to generate full rage meter again. And at this point, we're going to kill them all in one shot. This will probably leave up the guy on the right. I should have started punching him. Never mind. He's dead too. As you can see, there was plenty of room for that boss to summon monsters. He chose not to. He was probably mad at me for killing all of his helpers there. Now I could kill both of these guys on this turn, but I'm going to choose to use Titania's rage ability to give myself some health here. I'm also going to use her base ability to reapply focus and punch the boss. I'm going to start punching at this guy right here. And now we can use our rage ability. It's important to balance the amount of times you use Vordry's rage ability and your current health. If you start noticing yourself getting low, you probably want to switch it up and use Titania's rage ability instead. The boss has no more summons, so he's going to swing at my face on this turn. Okay, we're going to use Vordry's rage ability one more time. And this is the last time we should be using it. Use Titania's ability one more time. Then go crazy, the boss. And there we go. So floor 9 is the only floor that currently still gives me a problem. And it depends whether or not the boss keeps summoning these wolves. These Blight Hounds are quite tanky. I would rather the boss summon these Storm Spirits because they can die in like a couple of punches plus Anara's rage ability. So with that, the key hero to use on this fight is Anara. At least for me, I like using her. She's a good healer, protect buff for one turn, and her fire debuff that she applies with her rage ability does good damage against beasts, outlaws, which is perfect for this fight. For secondary hero, it shouldn't matter, but I'm going to bring Balberith for the odd chance I may want to use my rage to generate health and apply focus. Also, we're going to actually switch it up. We're going to use a beast weapon. Now, it's typically you want to use your strongest weapon for the boss itself, but in this case, for this particular fight, it's very important that you kill the minions. You kill the ads. Both of these enemies, the Blight Hound and the Storm Spirit, have really bad abilities. And when I say bad, I mean like bad for you. The Storm Spirits can stun you, and the Blight Hounds apply a 3-turn expose, which will allow all the enemies to do 25% more damage to you. So hopefully with some favorable RNG, we can beat this battle. Do not be discouraged if you lose, especially if you're starting to clear all 10 floors. You will probably lose some. You'll be surprised. You might beat all 10 floors of one day, and the next day you might lose on a floor you didn't plan on losing before. Just stay persistent, stay consistent, stay patient, and you should be able to do all 10 floors just fine. So for this fight, he started me off really nice. We got the Storm Spirits. Now at my level, we can potentially kill them in 2 punches. I critted the first punch. That was key. As you can see, I did not crit on this particular mob, and he'll be able to smack me with attack. I have a couple of choices here, and it's kind of like a gambling thing. If I am able to generate enough rage on this ability, Anara's rage ability should be able to kill this guy. In other scenarios, you would probably want to kill this guy first because his ability bar is the most filled. He'll be able to fill it up on the next turn if we do not kill him. These are the kind of decisions that you sort of want to be making in your head. I'm going to forego punching this guy, and I'm going to start weakening this guy. I was able to crit him. I know I can gain full rage on my next action, so I'm going to punch this guy instead and use Anara's rage ability. This should kill the first two enemies. And it killed all three. This is exactly why Anara is amazing on this floor. I have one extra turn. I'm going to punch the boss, start generating rage. And the boss decided to play nice again. He summoned Storm Spirits again. This is good news for us. We're going to punch this guy. He's almost dead. We'll just switch over. Whoops. I meant to switch over to the other Storm Spirit. This is okay. We can actually wait until he summons 4 enemies on this turn. The boss is going to summon 2 more enemies. And here we go. Our first Blight Hounds. Blight Hounds are very important to kill. As you can see, this guy has his ability ready to go, but I will be killing him with Anara's rage ability right now. So I could have used Anara's heal right there, but this fight, more than any, it's very important to generate rage really fast. If I wanted to pick a target for this turn, I would actually start attacking. Well, I would punch this guy at least once. And then start weakening one of these other guys. Perfect. So we were able to generate full rage meter. I will actually use it on this turn. As you can see, the boss summoned Blight Hounds 2 turns in a row. It starts getting kind of hectic if the boss summons Blight Hounds 3-4 turns in a row. We know the fire tick is going to kill this guy on the next turn. I am going to prioritize and give this guy at least 2 punches. We'll do one more. Okay. So the boss is going to swing at my face anyway. Typically, you want to leave a space for the boss to summon. These guys are going to die on the next turn. I'm going to just start killing one of these other guys first. We're going to take a lot of damage on this turn, but we should be okay. Okay, so as you can see, this guy doesn't have his ability up this turn, and he's almost dead, but we want to prioritize this guy over here. So I'm going to ignore the first guy for now and kill him first. At this point, I think it's pretty safe to use Anara's base heal. And we're going to try to kill him. Yes. At this point, we're going to use Balbora's Rage to give us some health and to give us focus. And we should be able to auto the rest of the fight. And there we go. Floor 10. This is what we've all been waiting for. This is what we've all been working up towards. Floor 10. We clear this, it's going to allow us to grind the Logician's Gauntlet faster. It's going to allow us to level our heroes, our gauntlet a lot faster. All the drops, all the tomes, all the cores that you'll get from completing all 10 floors on the daily are going to add up. This fight, believe it or not, I find it easier than floor 9, and I'll show you guys why. So we got a demon boss, we got outlaw helpers. We're gonna pick our strongest weapon. Of course, if you have like a strong outlaw weapon, I can recommend that, or a strong demon weapon. Right now I'm just gonna use my golem. Golem weapon is fine. And we're gonna bring 2 heroes. Our last healer, Wormwood. Wormwood, like Tristan, gives a 3-turn protect with his base ability when he is full starred, maxed. And our second hero is this gentleman, Prusa. At least I think that's how you pronounce it. Prusa is an outlaw hero. He is perfect for this fight, especially with his rage ability. When he's full starred, he applies expose. And since he's a Maverick hero, if you have the Maverick Gauntlet, his rage ability is going to hit for a ton. And it at this level, level 45, he can probably one-shot the guys in the back. When I first cleared all 10 floors, Prusa was not level 45. In fact, I think he was only level 30, but he is still an amazing hero for this fight. So if you guys remember floor 5 with the demon boss on that floor, it's exactly the same idea as this fight. If you remember on floor 5, I was able to kill both of the demons on the same turn. You can try to do the same thing on this fight, but just be focused on generating rage and protecting yourself. Don't be too concerned about killing the guys in the front. Just be patient. You don't need to rush to him right away. But as always, start the fight off by generating rage. Full rage meter, we're going to use Crusa's rage ability, and this should kill the guys in the back. So the boss decided not to summon. It might be his fatal mistake. If I am able to kill this guy on this turn, I'll move up and he'll no longer summon the guys in the front. There we go. Actually, in that scenario, it looked like it might have been possible for him to summon the guys in the front. So let me add a little note. When I mentioned killing both of the guys in the front on the same turn, if you have at least one action left, you'll move up for sure. But if you don't, and it was like that, where you had no actions left, I think it gives the boss an opportunity to still summon enemies in front of himself. At this point, it's probably safe to apply the 3-turn protect Wormwood. And at this point, with a strong enough weapon, you should be able to auto the rest of the fight. Prusa does a really good job, especially against outlaws, but his base ability also applies a stun, so that also helps negate some of the incoming damage from the archers. And there you go, guys. That is the Onslaught Dungeon. Now, again, it's the same 10 floors every day. Once you start clearing the Onslaught Dungeon, you'll find it easier and easier as you go on. Guys, if you found this video helpful, hit that like button. I also stream Knighthood every week. Right now, I'm streaming Knighthood every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern on my Twitch channel. I'll leave the link below. In case you want to join my guild, I lead a guild called Shinra. You might have seen us on the leaderboards. It's only been around for a few months, but we've been able to do pretty well, I'd say. If you guys have any other ideas for videos to make in the future, leave them in the comments below. Thanks for watching.